You will have it. For the glory of the colony!
Welcome back to another edition of Tea and Toys. This time we have got the Transformers Legacy Predacon Inferno. Right, so off the bat, he looks great out of package. He looks like he's literally been taken from the TV show and dropped into plastic in our laps. Full of a lot of articulation. Comes with one major accessory. And it works kind of, I don't know, at the detriment maybe of the toy. It works as his booster for his flying device, which you can spin. You can spin it with all the legs are out of the way. So it can be spun like that. And it can be folded down. So you can have him like that, so his bum isn't all exploded. And it works as one of his big guns. Like so. Well, that is that's the good side of the robot mode from Inferno. He's got this really cool hinge jaw as well, so he can open and close his mouth, which is great because the character's like ah! In the series. Now, the one thing that I really didn't like from the preview pictures, and I did question whether they were going to be a thing, and unfortunately, yes, they are. It's these on his hands right here. Now the hand articulation does work slightly separately there, but you've got this great big ant leg which is just in the way, completely in the way. Now what this toy doesn't do, what the original toy did do, is two of the ant legs would fold up on his robot legs, and these are just sort of details. They're no longer actual ant legs that fold out and be a part of the ant. And the ant legs that were on the arms, they could actually be folded back, like nice and smoothly onto the back of the arm. So you could fold them out of the way. And the middle arm, so one extra, see the arms that would have been on the robot legs are now up here. And you can't really fold away any of the arms very well unless you sort of tuck these down like that. But then you've just got bug legs. Do you know what? Now I've done that, that kind of works a bit better that they're down there, but that doesn't solve the problem with he's got lots of ant legs on his robot arms. Now, these middle legs, I think they're the middle legs, these actually were the ones that were on the side on the original toy, and you could fold them on the back of the figure, so they're out the way. So much like Waspinator, this versus the original and the Thrilling 30s version, you just have these bug legs that are just in the way all the time in the figure, so it really hinders. Look, I can't even lift the arm up without having some jiggery pokery to get it round. They are in the way when you want to pose these two figures in particular. Now, some people might say, oh yeah, same with with Tarantulas and Black Rat again. Well, no, because you can actually fold those legs away, and they are a part of the display ability of these two characters anyway, due to their animation models. And you can actually fold them out the way quite nicely, and they don't really hinder these two as much as it does these two in the Kingdom and Legacy modes. Now, I was excited for this Inferno, but I saw this through this in the first few pictures that this would be an issue. Now, just like the original Rampage, where you had these great big crab legs just hanging off his arms. Now, Inferno, a more modern toy, I think, let's say 25 plus 30 years later, we're getting the same problem with Inferno. I just think it's a big shame. Like, he looks great. Playability, these things are just in the way for displaying purposes, and when putting them in the display cabinet, they are just going to be in the way. It's frustrating that you get two sets of ant legs on his robot arms. Now when it comes to robot arms, my particular one, this one, works fine. You can spin it around, works really well. Now this one comes off so easily. Literally fell off the first time I got it out of the box. See, there is one thing you can do. It does clip back on and off easily enough. Shouldn't be clipping off anyway. But you can kind of lock it in with the back of the arm like that, because this bit moves in and out for articulation, probably transformation purposes. so you don't get that arm keep coming off, but it just limits, let's say, my copy from doing certain things. Can't really see the Predacon logo on his arm either. It's a bit like the greys. It sort of hides it a bit. So yeah, a lot of people raving about it. I am seeing issues that I haven't seen in other reviews that I don't like. What I don't like about this Inferno toy, it's a shame because he's the last of the Season 1 characters to be released from the Beast Wars stuff. And I just think that these ant legs are just in the way. The original toy, you don't get the same problems. Yes, the original toy has its own issues. I wouldn't want to have a reissue. I wouldn't want to have that old one back again, because aesthetically this one looks the part better, but all these arms, they are just in the way. It's the same with Waspinator. If there's anybody out there where they can do a 3D printed different bug legs for Waspinator, unfortunately you won't be able to remove these as easy. The annoying ones on the arms, but the ones on the legs you can do. They can pop off on their mushroom pegs like that. And the same with many of Inferno's legs. Unfortunately, the ones at the back of the arms, not so good. You probably can remove this leg and have it just... I just want the ability to be able to fold it down better. If it has to go there, just have the ability to fold it down. Like the ones down here, you can sort of get them out the way a little bit, but they're just dangling there, or they're hanging out the back there. It's a shame. And I think the better mode, much like Waspinator, is probably going to be the bug mode, where you won't get any hindrances from the robot mode parts getting in the way of the ant. So yeah, let's do a comparison with everybody else. There is Inferno with his queen, Beast Wars Megatron in his Series 1 body, the Flyers team, Inferno being the third one, with Waspinator and Pterosaur being the original Flyers. And we get the two spiders. Get those dastardly spiders. Tarantulas and Black Arachnia. Yes, Black Arachnia is too big, but she's not too big next to Inferno, so that's a good thing. And Scorponok, the first sub-commander, first second in command. And then when he dies, annoyingly, Inferno takes the place as second in command of the Predacons. So yeah, that's the Series 1 Predacons. Happy to have them all there, although there are some issues. Yes, Scorponok was too short. Black Arachnia is too tall. Waspinator's legs are everywhere. Inferno's legs are everywhere, the bug legs that is. And they didn't have the tail arm detachable on the Megatron. I think the only two that kind of survive most criticisms is Tarantulas and Pterosaur, although my Pterosaur does suffer from the wing pop. So yeah, the wing just falls off really easily. Straight out of the box that thing came out. So yeah, I think statistically, in my own head, Tarantulas is the one that comes off the most unscathed Series 1 Predacon body for me. That being said, let's get the other Inferno out. Let's have a comparison with the original G1 Inferno. And here he is next to his Generation 1 namesake. Categorically not the same character. Water and fire. Enemies if they ever cross paths in some universe or another. Inferno versus Inferno. Hell yeah, I would love to see it. There he is. I'm actually surprised at how big this Inferno is. Like, he is a Voyager as well, and he's a Voyager, or whatever they're calling the classes these days. So yeah, I'm surprised at how big Beast Wars Inferno is. That side's guns out of the way. So, they're still, they're quite a good match for each other. They're more or less the same size, let's say. Red and blacks. And like I said, categorically not the same character. Well, that's enough of that. Let's get him in bug mode. Well, here we have Inferno in his fire ant mode. And just as I said, just like Waspinator, Inferno works better in his ant mode. There's nothing hindering him or getting in the way when displayed in this form. Obviously the ant legs aren't getting in the way because the ant legs are what keeping him stood up. The robot legs are not in the way, they're a part of the thorax here. I actually thought that one part of the thorax we were going to cover this side as well. I think the original toy, it was a complete thorax on the ant, but that's by the by. That is teeny tiny minuscule complaint in regards to the ant mode compared to the robot mode, which I think there are many issues, in my opinion. Others might disagree. They might, I love those legs flying everywhere and getting in the way and trying to pose him. Hey, each their own. And one cool thing, you can move the mandibles this time round. I think the mandibles were part of one of the weapons last time that you could shoot from his mouth. Is that am I right in thinking? You could take... Yeah, that's right, yeah. The mouth were 2 weapons. You had the claw type weapon for one, and you had the missile launcher for the other one, where one of the legs, you could pull off the legs, and that could be one of his missiles. So the head splitting apart there, but that's because I'm fiddling with it. Yeah, I actually think this is a great ant toy. To be fair, he's, like I said, he works better as an ant. You can display the weapon on his back there. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't display the weapon stored away in the back of the thorax, which I kind of would have minded having that, but you can have him all battle moded up. A more modern representation of Inferno here. Yeah, all in all, a better toy in ant mode, just like Waspinator was a better wasp than Anator. Haha. What do you guys think? How are you displaying your Inferno? What do you think of all the arms everywhere? Personally, controversial statement, I have more grumbles about this Inferno than I do about the Blitzwing. Whoa! Cat amongst the pigeons, I've done it. Or the ant amongst the termites. Well, don't forget to love, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys and girls in the next video.